want to introduce you to one of my favorite people on earth and one of my best friends who happens to be my grandfather, Bob Gomez. He is a true testament to the verse 2 Corinthians 5:17 that says, "If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation." I hope that his baptism story blesses you as much as it's blessed me.
We took a vacation and went to Clifton, Texas. It sounds kind of strange to go from Acapulco, Mexico to a small one red light community in central Texas on vacation. At that time in Clifton, Jimmy got ill, and our friend took her to her doctor, and he diagnosed her with yellow jaundice. She said, "It's not a real problem, but let me give you some prescriptions and it'll take care of it." Well, it did, but we went to Beaumont, Port Arthur, where Jimmy's sister lived. She got sick, much worse. And so her sister took her to her doctor, and the doctor just kind of really hit us with some really bad news that he had diagnosed her as having Hodgkin's, which is a cancer of the lymph glands. Of course, it just shocked both of us. And he said, and really what you need to do is go from here, go to Houston and go to MDA, Anderson, and begin some treatment there. But I commuted for several months, leave Acapulco, go to Houston, spend the weekend with Jimmy, go back to Acapulco and do that. And on one of the return trips, I remember thinking, what am I going to do? Because the doctor had given us some pretty serious news that, this is not curable. One of the doctors, I couldn't believe he told me this, but he said, "Jimmy's got one foot in the grave." And I thought, what? He said, "Yeah, she's got one foot in the grave because there's not a cure for this. And she'll never go back to Mexico. They don't know what this is in Acapulco. They don't know what it is in Mexico City. So she's here. She's not going back. You're going to have to come here." Jimmy started improving. She was reacting to the treatments, and she got out on her own, started doing some things, and started going to the Westbury Church of Christ. And I used to dread Sundays and Wednesdays because every Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and Wednesday afternoon, she'd say, "Bob, we're going to the church to Westbury. You want to come with us?" "No, I don't have time for that. I've got other things to do." So she did that for quite a while. One day I'm driving, I'm working. I drove by the Central Church of Christ, the old Central Church of Christ. I don't even know if it's still operating, but I got an urge to pull into the church and go inside, and I don't know what caused that, but that's exactly what I did. I went into the building, and the sanctuary was empty. It was on a weekday, so it was empty. So I sat down, and in my Catholic tradition, I pulled out my rote prayers and started praying as well as I knew then. And I'm 31 years old. And I just said, "God, you've got to help me," because a lot of things are going wrong in our life right now. Jimmy has her ups and downs. She's not going to be cured. The medical problems, the finances were really becoming a strain, and just things were going wrong. And so I'm just kind of desperate, asking God, please help me, help our family, and stabilize us, help Jimmy get better. And a couple of weeks later, I came home from work, and I just sat down. We were watching TV, and I just blurted out, "Jimmy, I've got to be baptized." And she said, "What?" And I said, "I've got to be baptized right now." And of course, she was elated. She immediately called Deanna Beecham. She was trying to call Gary Beecham. And Deanna told Jimmy that Gary was out of town, but that she would have Kip Jordan, the associate minister, talk to me. Called, and Kathy, Kip's wife, said, he's in a meeting right now and I can't get a hold of him. But wait, and let me try to get a hold of Mike Richards. Mike was a member, pretty dynamic man, as I remember, at Westbury. I think he was in politics also, but he sent word to me to get to the building ASAP. And there was a storm like I've never seen before, falling on Houston. And Jimmy and I went to Westbury in the midst of this terrible storm, went in, we entered the a semi-darkened sanctuary, and there were just a few people there. And then one man led a prayer, and Mike baptized me. But that just changed everything. But after my baptism, it took me quite a while to come off that religious high. I just fell in love with the people there, and I just felt God taking control of my life. It was a beautiful life, and He continued to bless us. And we ultimately resigned from Braniff, moved to Abilene, and worked for Abilene Christian University for 25 years. And I think back to the sequence of all of these things, me going to Detroit, me being transferred to Acapulco, even Jimmy, my wife, being diagnosed with cancer. All of these things led me step by step to my baptism and changed my life. I've never looked back. So my family has been blessed beyond what we ever imagined. It's been so good to our family.